Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse One here. How is everybody doing today? Welcome, welcome. Uh, we are going to talk today. Basically, we're going to make this whole time tonight about you guys. Okay, so this is about questions you want to ask, sharing how you feel about what's happening, and all that type of stuff. So we're going to get into all that in a moment. But first, I just want to remind everybody if we have any issues, again, with everything, I'll get right back on right away. So if this thing blanks out on us, I will get back on right away. So please just be patient with that, and we will go from there if that's the case. Also, this is a very family friendly oriented channel. So please be decent to each other in the chat. Please, no racism, no nastiness. Be decent to each other in the chat. It's unnecessary, and I would just ask for everybody to be kind. Okay, so but anyway, all right. So what do we got? British government aren't including old folks who die in nursing home. It's so sad. Angel just said that. With everything that's going on, it's kind of it's overwhelming at times. If you just look at the scope of everything that's happening, it can be very, very overwhelming. Michigan protesters today, thousands showed up in the lashing. Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that video of people protesting, and people are getting tired of it. I mean, and it's understandable. Um, you know, People want to be able to live their lives and do what they want to do, and we're used to doing that here in the United States. And it's kind of a very unnerving time, and because it's like you don't know. Hey, we got our stimulus check today. We were talking about getting chickens and now fix up the garden. There you go. Well, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Chickens are great. I love having chickens. Hey, Ed, need better weather for the garden in mind. Yeah, no kidding. Well, I'll tell you what, right now, as we're speaking, I have a layer of snow on the ground and it's snowing out right now. So, yeah, I hear you. I'm like, when the weather we get a break and it starts being nicer, you start getting going on stuff, and that's what you want to really get rolling on. But and it sounds like he will open up the country before May. What do you think? Blue Light just said that. Okay, you know what? Great question. I actually think it's a mistake. If they open up the country before May, I think it's a mistake, because right now, if you see, you always got to pay attention what is happening elsewhere as well. And right now, they're saying there's another outbreak happening in China. There's more going on there, so it's not over yet. I think that it would be premature to do this too soon. Again, we're not, guys. First of all, I want you to realize we're not being given all the information, not even by close to a long shot. Now, I keep hearing these things, and people are saying that they're padding the numbers by saying that whoever dies of whatever is to put down COVID-19 as the cause. And I believe in actuality, it's the absolute opposite of that. I think a lot of people that have died from this virus are not being reported to try to suppress the numbers as much as they possibly can. That's my take on it. I'm giving you my opinion. I mean, I have nothing to say that that's the truth, but you look at the track record of not just our government, but all the governments of the world. They always lie. They never tell the truth. And with everything that's happening, it's just there's so much information. Canadian government messed up and sent way too much money out. Ben just said that. Yeah, what you guys are dealing with up there is it's tough. It is absolutely tough, and I know that. Uh, JJ says someone got 8 million by mistake. I don't know what that's. I don't know. I have no idea what that's about. But yeah, I did the protest in Michigan today, and it makes sense. People, like I said, people are tired of this. Um, I think it's a dangerous thing to do. It's an absolutely dangerous thing to do, and if they, from everything that I've read, and again, guys, there's so much misinformation out there, and so many people saying all kinds of things. It can be very, very confusing. Okay, but with what is happening around the world, and I'm going to tell you what things are. Again, I'm going to give you my opinion. I think things are just amping up, Hey, Angel. In the UK, the British government aren't including the old people. Oh, hold on a second. Who die in the nursing homes. It's so sad. It's heartbreaking. Yep. You know what? I agree. And like I said, again, I really thank you for that donation too. By the way, I really think, yeah, life is dangerous. Yeah, it can be, Mike Knife. That's for sure. But with this virus that's out there, and again, I truly believe that it's a bioweapon. I think it was made on purpose. Either it was released by accident or on purpose. I'm not 100% sure. Hey, Prepper Chris 1, do you think the UK or India will take our place? I'm going to tell you what, this thing is just really amping up over in India, and I think you're going to see a tremendous amount of people die in India. A tremendous amount of people. The UK doesn't have the numbers to be a world power anymore. This isn't like way back when the UK had the strongest navy in the world, and they were able to do that with, they just don't have the numbers of people anymore. And it's an island, and it makes it more vulnerable that way. And I know back in the day that was protection, but nowadays that's not a protection. Superpowers, it's going to vary. I mean, right now we're still number one. The United States is, but that doesn't mean that China or Russia could be. Okay, they're not anybody to screw around with. I mean, people always want to talk down about China and stuff like that, but you're talking about a very, very determined, very disciplined people. We don't have no discipline here in the United States. And I understand that over in China, it's a totalitarian type of government over there. I mean, they lock it down, and what they say goes. But they have the numbers, and they have the people to be able to do that. So, 1,000 in the chat and only 229 thumbs up. Yeah, guys, if you haven't shot a thumbs up yet, if you would do that to show support for the channel, I would absolutely appreciate that. And thank you ahead of time. And again, if you have not been subscribed to the channel already, please do subscribe and make sure that, Ed, should we take the vaccine? We'll talk about that in just a second. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. USA is 10th in power when Nuke won overnight. Was 10th in power? I don't know what you mean by that, Prepper Chris 1. But no, as far as a vaccine, I'm not a vaccine person. I don't believe that the end-all, be-all, cure-all is a vaccine. I don't trust them. That's the bottom line. I don't trust the government. I don't trust people like Bill Gates, sitting up there on his pedestal, making decisions and saying what people can or cannot do. Somebody just said Bill Gates can't be trusted. Shannon just said that, and I agree with you. India has too much overpopulation to be a superpower. Well, they don't really have, they have too much overpopulation, but they have so many poor people. The disparity of the ultra rich and the poor, like I said, so many, I can't remember what the percentage is, like 80% of the people that live in the country are day laborers, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what that was, but we let China get out of control. Well, there's always stuff happening, with these different governments playing games, and they all want to be number one. So when the U.S. became the superpower, and and stuff like that, it's a difficult thing. I mean, then there's always going to be wanting to be somebody to knock you off that pedestal. You're always going to have spies. You're always going to have people doing underhanded stuff. And I'm going to tell you what, as the United States, we do underhanded stuff all the time. We assert our will. We will overthrow governments. We will put people in power that we want to put in power, puppet governments, if you will, because they'll do what we say. And again, it's just, Bill B said we sold our freedoms for $1,200. I don't think that that's the case, Bill. I think people are generally scared, and I think that they should be. Again, there's all kinds of speculation of how bad this virus is. Everything from, the percentage is not as high as the average flu. And so if you look at the progression of things all along this whole line of everything that has happened, okay, none of it makes any sense if this is something that is minor like the flu. Prepper Chris 1, we are the 10th in power when we dropped the bomb and became number one overnight. Um, it's been trolls. Yeah, yeah, okay. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, when we got the bomb, it put us in a whole different bracket. You're right, and it did. And then we became the superpower, and because we stayed out of World War II as long as we did, and we didn't have any real fighting on our soil other than Pearl Harbor, the mainland of the United States, other than when we're fighting each other, really hasn't, since the American Revolution and all that, really haven't seen a lot of war here. I know there was the War of 1812 and all that type of stuff, but it has been a long time since we've seen any kind of war on our soil. And that's made us overconfident, made us lazy, and those type of things. So, uh, Debbie Harding says can't get a response. Good night. Okay. I don't know, Debbie. I didn't see what you would put up. So I apologize if I missed one of your comments. 8 million was the ATM machine receipt print error. Was not deposited in the person's account. Oh, Gary Hughes just said that. Oh, it was an error. Okay, yeah, because it's like if they had 8 million in their account, they're still only going to be limited to how much they can take out each day. Um, I saw a lot of FEMA in the last 3 days while doing storm cleanup in Connecticut. Yeah, there's what, and there's a lot going on, and people are going to always try to read more into things than they are. I mean, can FEMA be a good thing? They've been very disorganized in the past, as we know. Hey, Ben McCaskill, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for that donation. Goods are shortening in supermarkets in Puerto Rico. Antonio just said that. Yeah, you know what? I think that we are in for a long haul with this thing. I don't think this is going away anytime soon. I think you're going to see, like what's happening now, especially in New York. New York is getting crushed, especially downstate. I mean, in my county where I'm at, we still don't have a lot of cases. But again, how much, and again, when it comes to that, I want you to think about this, okay? How much testing is actually being done on people to see who has it and who doesn't? Hey, Prepper Chris 1, my local clerk is Indian, and he gives me updates. Oh, very cool. That's cool. Good to hear. It's good to know that, what's happening over in his country. Yeah, it's make pasta from eggs and flour. North Shore Preparedness just said that. But canned meats are a must right now. Yeah, you know what? Getting canned meats is a good thing. It's one of the things I've had in my preps for a while. Ham, chicken, and whatever else. RV. We must strike a balance between the lockdown and sustaining the economy. Otherwise, we'll end up with more victims. We need test areas to gauge it. You know what? And you're right. The economy is right now, and the longer this stretches out, it's worse for the economy. It's worse for the average person, the average individual that's trying to survive. It's just there's a lot of craziness going on, and again, I mean, I know it's very, very overwhelming, but there's everybody's talking about canned meat on here, but canned meat is a good thing to have in your preps, and you should have it in your preps. I need some canned bacon. Well, you can, Yotter bacon. That's one we can get bacon. Spam is another good thing. Yep, Lori Nelson just said that. Maybe we will start doing things again and become strong once more. Prepper Chris 1 just said that. You know what? And I'm going to tell you what we need to do as a country is realize how reliant we were on other countries, and that's not always a good thing. We need to rely on ourselves. We need to bring manufacturing back to our own country here and make our own country strong. Give people good jobs where they can make a decent living, and and be able to spend money and put that money back into the economy. You're not seeing that. You know what I mean? You haven't seen that for a while. We've become a service industry is what we have become in the United States. We were a manufacturing country for a long, long time, and that's what made us great was the fact of the manufacturing. Yeah, not a guinea pig. Say no to Cuomo's vaccine. Well, I saw something today that he's going to mandate that if you go out and if you're a New Yorker, that you have to have a mask on. I mean, the control is getting a little bit ridiculous, It's getting a little bit ridiculous, but I mean, it's just, we all have to decide when is enough, realistically. How much control are we going to let them have, and how much are we going to give them? I mean, you think about right now with what's going on. It's amazing how much we just rolled over and said, okay, yeah, we'll do whatever you say. And then they may come out and try to, and I know there's a lot of talk about forced vaccinations, but, I don't believe that anybody can force you to do anything you don't want to be, because once they do that, once they get in that position where they would force you to get a vaccination, then we're not a free country anymore. Absolutely not a free country anymore. So, going to Canada Garden this year. Oh, Canada Garden this year. Very good, Mary Stackle. I hope I said that right. It's, you know what? Again, guys, I will say this over and over and over again. Plant the biggest gardens of your life. Do that this year. Senile Traveler, Thailand is treating the virus with HIV drugs like AZT. And you know what? And who knows how much success they're really having with that? We don't know. We really, really don't. Hey, Asif, just came into the live chat. Well, welcome, and good to see you here. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I'm going to tell you what. After we had this nice stretch of nice weather, and then the weather has turned to crap again. And like I said, right now it is snowing out and it's miserable. Today was a very chilly day here and not so much fun. It's weird. I'm in a weird place right now. So, hold on a second. Oh, I know one thing I did want to talk about too. World Health Organization is dead. Not one world order ever, believe. No, I don't think you're going to see one world order. I really don't. Prepper Chris 1. We pulled out of the World Health Organization as well. Oh, you are still my hero. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know that we have Trump is talking. I think he's already done it. Defunding the World Health Organization. So we give them like ridiculous amounts of money, and he was talking about that they basically were favoring China with their decisions. And see what's happening too now. We got to think about this a second, okay? Now, this virus did come from China, which we know. We know China lied about everything from day one. The World Health Organization did say, oh no, everything's fine. It's not a big deal. It's nothing to worry about, okay? Where anybody that was paying attention what was going on, you don't lock down as many people as they did in their country for no reason. So that gave me really a pause to think that it was much worse than it was. And I still believe that it was much worse than it was, okay? But what's happening now is the blame game. That's what's happening now. Hey, Wolf, what do you think about Trump? Hold on a second. What do you think about Trump making Vince McMahon from the WWE an advisor for getting the economy back on track? Yeah, I don't know. I did not hear that, so that's kind of bizarre, to be honest with you. How long does immunity last from a vaccination versus getting the virus? Space Girl just said that. And again, if they have a virus, who's to say how effective it is? I mean, if you think about it, I think it was like 800 million, not 500 million. It was like 898 million, I believe, was what they gave to the World Health Organization. I mean, it was like a ridiculous amount of money. But so talking about effectiveness of a vaccine, okay, let's talk about the effectiveness of the flu shot real quick, okay? Any season, any year that it happens, it's a 10% chance that it's going to be effective. That's it. But they want everybody to get that flu shot every year because they make a ton of money off of it. When they come out with a vaccine for the coronavirus, okay, they'll make a ton of money off that. So who benefits? Obviously, the pharmaceutical companies. They're going to get rich off this thing. It's always about that. But the thing is, the effectiveness of it will really depend on that. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know how effective it's going to be. And really, what are the side effects going to be? Trump and McMahon have a history, and I could see that being some truth. Do you agree or not? Yeah, you know what, it could be. And I don't know because I hadn't seen that yet as far as Vince McMahon, but I don't know. I vote we fund the CDC, not the World Health Organization. Well, remember this, Pepper Chris 1. The CDC pushes the vaccine because they get a cut of that every year as far as the flu shot stuff goes. So can you talk about root cellars? James, NASCAR fan, just said. Sure. I mean, you know what? I want to have a root cellar here at the homestead. That's something that is definitely on my list that I want to get done. I mean, there's a lot that I want to get done, honestly. I got years and years of things to do here, but a root cellar is definitely high up on the priority. I think a root cellar is essential to keep your root vegetables and keep like canned goods and, any kind of storage of whatever you have, cool, dry place. Once you're under the frost line, which depending on what part of the country you are, could be anywhere from 2 to 3 feet. Once you get under that frost line, it stays a maintained temperature of 58 degrees underground, or 58 all the time underground. So it's always going to be cool under there, okay? So it's a really good thing to have. And if it's a real hot day and you're outside and you're working and you're freaking sweating your butt off and you want to cool down, then you can just go into the root cellar. I mean, you don't even have to worry about air conditioning. So, it's a really, really good thing. Oh, 1,500 people watching, only 500 thumbs up. Yeah, I know. It's guys, actually, if you could shoot a thumbs up to show support for the channel, again, I would appreciate that. And thank you ahead of time. It's just, I like to see a decent number of thumbs up, and again, it helps with the analytics and stuff like that too. So if you could do that, I would, thank you again. And again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. Also hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you ahead of time. So, but yeah, Mike Nice says, get ready to rumble. Yeah, right. Hey, you know what? McMahon is a great businessman as well. I mean, you look at what he did. I'm going to tell you what. Think about this. What about Mark Cuban? Why wouldn't you want to have somebody like him on a panel to try to help get the economy recovered? Very smart businessman. These type of people like Vince McMahon, like Mark Cuban, those type, Elon Musk. I mean, I think he's British, but I believe, I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, people like that, that's who you need. We need to treat this as a business, because realistically, it's a business. And so if you put people in charge to curtail the stealing, the lying, the payoffs and all that type of stuff, I think that's a really, really good thing. He is on a TGE panel. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I did not know that. My mic is crackling. Somebody just said. Elon Musk is Cuban? Okay. I don't think Elon Musk is Cuban, is he? Elon Musk is from South Africa. Okay. Well, there you go. All right. Thanks, guys, for clearing that. Because I was going to say he didn't seem to be Cuban. Let's see. What is happening when this mutates to something new? Oh, yeah. You know what? Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about the chance of when the fall comes. Let's say this continues to go on. And when the fall comes, it mutates into something much worse, or who knows? You know what I mean? But again, Mike is fine. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, because I'm not having any issues on this end with anything. So, but no, I don't know. It's fine on my end. I'm not hearing any problems over here at all. And some people are saying that it's fine. Okay. Well, maybe it's on your end. I don't know. Did I see the protest in Michigan? Yes, I did, Schmitty. I saw that. And I get the frustration. I'm going to tell you what. I totally get the frustration. It sucks being home all the time. I mean, like today, I had to go down to the P.O. box, okay, because I had stopped there the other day later at night, checked, and I had a package. So I had to go back and get the package today. So we got dressed, went down to the P.O. box, grabbed the package, and we came right back home. That's super exciting. There's nothing going on. Nothing going on. So, you can't go to the movies. You can't go out to eat someplace, to sit down restaurant. Everything is closed. And I want you to think about that, with everything closed and the effect that's going to have on people. Hey, Math, Music, and Life. Let's see. Hold on a second. I want to see what she said here. Families need to pool their resources and buy farmland, orchard, or ranching land. My family grabbed 300 acres at $500 an acre. There is plenty of land, but not for long. Safety in small communities be ahead of the curve. You know what? And I can't disagree with that. I think that that's great advice. What I find And again, if you got a family and you can work together, that's great. But if you can't find a family to work together, try to find somebody else that can work together with you. Hey, Donna Smith, a vaccine was put on trials for SARS-CoV-1, and the effects of the vaccine were worse than the symptoms of SARS. We don't even know if people who have had the COVID are immune from it if they are exposed. Exactly. You know what? And again, thank you for that donation as well. And, I don't trust it at all. I really, truly don't trust it at all. But people working together to try to, get, pick up land and stuff like that, I think that's a great idea. I've talked about communities, guys, in the past. I think as a group, you're not going to survive on your own. You need to have some kind of group or a community together. So, do you think all the elites globally are planning this for selfish gain? You know what? I don't think so. I really don't, because, they need the worker bees to continue to get them in the lifestyle that they do. I mean, you look at these, okay, so an example, let's just go with, I'd say we're going to go with Nike sneakers, okay? So Nike has their brand, and they got it, they're putting it out there, and they're trying to get people to buy their sneakers. Well, right now, people aren't making the sneakers. They're not getting them out there. You can't go to the shoe store. Well, you can go to like Walmart and stuff like that, but what I'm saying is you're not going to be able to go to your regular stores and get the different things that you want. So, that's the problem. So, R.D. Franklin said, would love to buy a house with a few acres. Well, make it happen, R.D. I mean, you know what? Again, it's all about choices, guys. Everything that we do in life is a choice. When I made the choice to do what I did to put myself in the position that I am, I didn't do it with a ton of money. I didn't have a ton of money. I bought my property, and I'll tell you, and this is not a bad way to do it either. When you're buying blank land, the bank is not going to give you a mortgage. They're not going to. So what you can do is you find somebody that's trying to get rid of land, and there's always land for sale. Always. You're going to always find land, blank land, wherever, vacant land. You go, and the further away you are, the better off chances are of getting land cheap and also getting decent land. Prepper Chris 1, just want to let chat know, do you see the trolls? Okay. All right. I don't know if you, so anyway, thank you for that donation too, Prepper Chris 1. But, so that's what you do. You find somebody who's selling that land, and you do a land contract with that person. Do it completely legal with a lawyer, and you buy that land, and then you make your payments, and then that land is yours. Now, obviously, you still have to pay taxes on that land. Okay, that's a big part of it. If you pay your taxes, they're not taking your land away. And then if you have to, I mean, we started out here on the homestead in a 37-foot camper. I bought a used 1994, I can't even remember the name of the brand of it was, but a 1994 camper, 37-foot camper. And that's how we started out here on the homestead. I paid, and I'll tell you what, I got that camper for $2,000, okay? It can be done. If you have to start in a smaller camper, however you have to do it, that's what you do. You make it happen. You decrease your, hey, Jeanette Tahu, thank you very much for that donation, honey. I appreciate that. You make it happen, okay? You really, there is no excuses. People, I don't have money, I don't have this or that. Well, you know what? If you're paying rent someplace, okay? If you're paying rent like on an apartment, what are you looking at? Anywhere, if you're in a studio apartment, it's like $500-$600 now. I mean, it's ridiculous. Then you're going to get to a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment, or if you're renting a house or whatever it may be, you could be looking, depending on what part of the country you're in too, of course. But I mean, here, if you're looking at a 1-bedroom apartment in New York, upstate, you're looking at $700-$800 a month, in that range for a 1-bedroom apartment. So instead of putting that money into an apartment, because you think about it, our income, a great majority of our incomes go to where we live. So make a sacrifice. Say, you know what, I'm going to make this move and make that move. And it'll suck for a while. Absolutely it will. John Black, what do you think of the Comet Atlas? You know what, I don't read too much into that. I really don't, John. But thank you very much for the donation. I mean, everybody wants to try to again, try to read something into it. They really haven't. The chances of it hitting the Earth are minimal. So, but there's always going to be asteroids and stuff like that. But I do want to get back to what I was talking about here really quickly. The majority of your money is going for rent, and then you got utilities, and then of course everybody has to have cable, right? You have to have cable, so you're probably paying, if you have just a regular phone, cable, and internet, you're looking at almost $200 a month. I mean, that's easy, and that's not without your HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, or any other channels. Okay, so again, what it comes down to, it's want and need. Are you willing? Now, this is what you got to think about, guys. I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm trying to be realistic. It's what are you willing to sacrifice to get to your dreams and your goals? When we started out here, we started out with crap. I mean, we had a 37-foot camper. I had a crappy old beat-down shed, okay, that, we had to rip off part of that because it was leaking, and so that's what we started out with. And when we got here, like I said, I told my kids the first 2 weeks here are going to suck, but it will get better. And they have. But it's taken time. It did not happen overnight. But we don't do anything here at the homestead unless I can pay cash for it. Okay, so if I don't pay cash for it, it's not happening. So that's kind of a really important aspect of what I try to do here. So we've done it as we can. And if you're working, now, like I said, I'm retired now, but if you're working, most of your money is going for rent, utilities, and food, okay? Well, if you don't have to worry about that rent payment, now you have a land payment, okay? And you get out there on a camper or whatever way you have to start. You do what you have to do to start, and you make it work. It's very doable. It is very, very doable. Lori Nielsen, hold on a second. Just got my property back. Now it's mine. My house is not in the best condition, but I have an 18-foot camping trailer. Very good, Lori. I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome. And there's another thing. I want to point that out. If you see Lori's picture, she's an older lady. She's not young doing that, okay? But she's doing it. So I really, I really get tired. And I'm not trying to talk down to anybody. I don't want you to think I'm trying to talk down to you guys. But I get so tired of people having every excuse in the world why they can't do something. When I talk about STD, guys, that's what I'm talking about. You work at things methodically. What we have here at the homestead did not happen overnight. And it's still not even close to where I want it to be. I'm years and years away, away from being where I want to be. But we're working at it, and it's a progression. You do what you have to do, and you make it work. Okay, anybody can do that. Anybody can do it. So when people tell me, "Oh, I can't," and I can't, and I can't, you're making an excuse to justify why you won't. And that's the way I look at it. Because I'm going to tell you what, I cannot even begin to tell you how many people told me when we made this move, there's no way you're ever going to make it. There's no way you're going to make it. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many times I heard that. Prepper Chris 1, anything worth doing takes sacrifice and work. Yeah, it absolutely does, Chris. You're 100% right. And again, I'm telling you, as a single father with 2 children, one of them with autism, and I was working full time when we moved up here, okay? So it wasn't like I came up here and stopped working. But we did this. And if I can do it, and I'm going to tell you what, I'm not a carpenter. I don't claim to be a carpenter, so I don't have that skill set. So if you have that skill set or stuff like that you can do, anybody can do this. You have to have the determination and the real want to do it. And realize you're going to deal with some crap times where it's going to truly suck. And you're going to question, why did I do this? But you know what? If you have a dream, and that's what it comes down to, hopes and dreams in life. And this had been my dream. This had been something that I've wanted to do. And I said, you know what? Nobody's going to tell me what I can't do. And I use that as motivation to really make sure this happened. That is definitely not a carpenter. Yes, I'm definitely not a carpenter. Can't is a 4-letter word. Asim just said that. Exactly. But we just do the best we can. and any of us. And I'm telling you right now, if you can't do it financially on your own, try to hook up with people and work together. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to do that, if you are going to go in and throw your money in to a group pool of a few people, make sure you do that legally. That's the one advice that I would give you. So, but sorry, man, but you still got those things done. We did, and I've had help. And that's another thing. Finding good people to assist you and help you, and barter, and like Greg has helped us a lot over here, and you guys have seen that. Good Soul 00, thank you very much for that donation. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Protest starting in Michigan. I saw that, Scott. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Yeah, there's definitely people are getting tired. They're getting tired of it. But again, it takes time. Exactly. Pixie Murray just said it takes time. Anything worthwhile, and Prepper Chris 1 just said it earlier, but I'm going to add to it. It takes time and hard work. That's what it takes. Anything worthwhile is let's put it like, and I'll break it down even more simple. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would do it because it would be easy. But because it's not easy, a lot of people that start quit. They go right back on grid and they go, yup, I'm not doing that. I'm not dealing with it. Math, Music, and Life. Daughters and I are renovating an old hunting cabin. I retired early instead of doing, hold on a second, math, research, and retirement. I am teaching the kids who build greenhouses, dig wells, use the wood-burning stove, chose to be happy and enjoy. You know what? And that's awesome. That is awesome. And again, I'm going to share with you guys too a little bit. And I've had people tell me this too. People that watch my older videos and they watch my videos now. They said, since I moved up here, I look healthier, I look younger. But it's true because just like what Math, Music, and Life just said, it's about being happy, following your dreams, and going for it, and not listening to negativity, not trying to have negative people surround you. Cut them loose from your life if you can. I think that's really, really important because it's like they want to try to bring you down. A lot of people, you got to understand this too, okay? Because you're doing something that other people don't have the stones to do. Let's just put it like that, okay? They don't have the stones to do it. They're jealous, and they wish that they could do it, but they don't have the guts to even try. So they'll criticize instead. Hey, Tony, whole virus thing has me thinking more and more of going off grid. You know what? I highly encourage anybody to do it if you can do it. Get away from the rat race. Get out, and again, the difference in people, once you get away from suburbia, the cities, when you get out into the country, and even in small towns, but if you can, you don't have to be in a small town, but if you get away from that, and have some peace. I'm going to tell you what, one of my favorite all-time things to do here, and I've talked about this before, but one of my favorite things to do here is to go out at night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's deathly quiet, and you don't hear anything except, whatever animals are in nature, and just look at the stars. And it is just so peaceful. I can't even begin to explain that to you. And then having animals to be part of your life, and having things that you take care of that rely on you, like the chickens. We have a relationship, the chickens and I do, Ed, why do you have so many different types of solar panels? Did you learn more along the way and get better ones? What happened was the reason I have so many different kinds, I have like 3 different kinds, or 3 or 250, 3 different kinds of panels. The reason is because I couldn't buy all the panels at once, so we bought them as we could. So when we bought the next group of panels, like I started out with 250 watt panels, so I bought 3 of those to start out with. Then the next year I bought 3 more, which brought us up to 1,500 watts of power. Okay. After that, I bought, I think it was 4 255 watt panels. And then after we bought the 255 watt panels, then I turned around and I ended up buying 5 300 watt panels. So that's kind of how, but again, you You build it up as you can afford to do it. I'm going to tell you what, guys, there's nothing wrong with starting out small. Have a small system. You got your inverter, your charge controller, maybe two 300-watt panels. Now, you're not going to run a ton off that. I'm telling you right now, you're not. We experimented. We tried. Forget about a coffee maker. It's not going to happen, okay? Forget about the hair dryer. Forget about using, the waffle iron, a toaster. Those things are going to suck on your power system. But as you build that system up, now we can use those things here, okay? I can make toast, and I'm going to tell you what, until I just upgraded this system again with these better batteries, we would only make toast during the daytime when the sun was out, okay? Because that was the best time to do it. But now, if I decide to have toast right now, I'll go put it in the toaster and put it in there. But it's taken us time to get there. Everything, again, worthwhile takes time. So with getting to the point where I have to go armed if I go out at night, RV Source said, yeah, and that's sad that you have to do that. Why should we have to do that? Not giving up coffee. Well, there's other ways to make coffee, Gina Cooper. You can heat water on the stove and you can, filter it that way. There's other ways to make coffee instead of that electric coffee pot. I'm just saying that. You learn to become creative. You learn what works and what doesn't work. But that's what you have to learn. And when you get to a point where you can, like another example, we did not have running water for the first year and a half we were here at the homestead. No running water at all. We humped water in. So my mom was living in town with her, he's deceased husband. I would say ex, but he's deceased. They were living in town. We would go in and we would fill up 5-gallon totes of water and we would bring it up here. And that's what we used for that time period. Okay. Once we got the money and put in the storage tank for the water and ran the lines and got the pump in here and did all that, and we're able to have running water, it was unbelievably awesome. Prepper Chris 1, Ed, I'm so proud of you and you deserve your praise. Well, I do appreciate that, Chris. And I'm not trying to do it to say, oh, look at me and pat myself on the back. What I'm trying to explain to you guys is that if you want to get there, have the patience and realize that anything worthwhile takes time. If you have to hump water in for a while, so what? You do what you have to do, okay? It all works out in the end. If you reach your goals and are not hugely in debt and don't have this heavy debt load anymore and this payment and that payment and the other payment, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. Not having a gas and electric bill for me, it's about freedom. Freedom first and foremost, because nobody can come in here and say, you didn't pay your bill, I'm turning your power off. They can't do it because it's my power company. Now, yeah, was it cheap? No, not at all. But guess what? When everybody else loses power because the grid goes down in my area, guess who still has power? I do, because I'm not hooked in with them. I have nothing to do with them. I am independent. And that was my goal from day one. So, you work at it. You get there. We had to run a generator a lot in the winter times, okay? I don't know what's going to happen with this system now that we just put in the new batteries, but we'll have to see. When we get into next winter, we're going to see how it goes, So, and then when my sister and her husband and my mom move in, it's going to be more of a power draw. We're going to have more people using power. So, we probably will get more batteries at that point. We'll do what we have to do, but again, you make it work. And to me, to be able to have my sister here and to have my mom here full time and know that I can keep them safe and they're protected and they're away from where they're living now, and having to deal with neighbors in a house. They have, it's like a house with 5 apartments in it. And, some neighbors are decent and some are not. And then you have revolving door stuff that they deal with. I don't ever want to deal with that, So again, go for your goals. Don't make excuses. And make it happen, Yeah, not a bragger, an example. Exactly, Peacemaker 83. Like I said, we have sacrificed here. We didn't walk into a situation where everything was ready and everything was going, okay? That's not how it was at all. We walked in here, and like I said, that first 2 weeks until I got the solar system set up and started, and that was my first system, and I'm going to tell you what, you learn a lot. It's a big learning curve, okay, but you learn. And then hopefully you have other people that help you. After that first winter, I got a phone call, and I will never ever be ashamed to say it, and I appreciate it to this day. I think about it all the time. Bill and Rosa Off Grid. He's out in Oklahoma. He's been off grid a couple years longer than I have, maybe 3-4 years more than I have. And he called me, and he said, Ed, copy my system. I'm going to tell you how to do it. Copy my system. And so, you know what? Because this was somebody that was living off grid, that was doing it, that wasn't just talking about doing it, he was actually doing it. I listened to him. And that's another thing, making the right decisions. Hey, Tony, how does your battery system work? Do they power a breaker box that in turn power your home? Okay, what it is the batteries are, the power that comes in from the sun is DC power. DC power is stored in the batteries. My inverter, which is an Ames inverter, that turns DC power into AC power. We have a line that comes off of that comes into the house, that is hooked into the breaker box in the house. And that's how we get our AC power into the house, okay? So that's how that works. And so that's how we power our home. And, it's a great system, and it works fantastic. You just have to, like I said, and you learn. You study, you listen to people that know what they're doing, that know what they're talking about, and you take that advice and you run with it. And again, like I said, Bill and Rosa from Bill and Rosa Off Grid, awesome. Good. And not only is, and I basically dealt with Bill. I didn't really talk to his wife, but I dealt with Bill. Good people, always helpful, always there to take your phone call. If you had a question, he would be, no kill switch. Yeah, the kill switch, Antonio, is I have a kill switch right out on the box that we have right out in the shop. So if I need to work on my system, I can kill the power coming in from the solar panels, and I can work on my system any way I want to. So yeah, there is a kill switch out there that stops the power from coming in. So Trump doesn't realize that opening the economy will not kill the virus. You're exactly right. I don't think the virus is going away anytime soon. Somebody had another question here. How many amp hours are your batteries? You know what? I did a whole video on it, and I think each battery is 130 amp hours, I believe. I would have to go back and look at that again. I'd have to look at the specs. Actually, let's see. Actually, I got them right here. Hold on a second, and I can tell you. Let's see. 200 amp hours. Okay. They're 5 kilowatt hour, 200 amp hour batteries, each battery. So that's, it's, let's see. So yeah, 200 amp hours for each one of those batteries. So I have 5 of them. So that's how, but again, PA governor just announced if you don't wear a mask in the store, you can deny service. Wow. Well, I know, like I said, again, more and more and more control. Prepper Chris son, you will make winter fine. Yeah, I'm hoping that we do. But again, I still have, as a backup, I have that generator. So I like that, whatever. Thank you very much for the donation. I like that name. That's awesome. That's nothing, a little bit of attitude there. I love that. But again, do you have an indoor bathroom? Yes, Chris, I have an indoor bathroom. And I have a composting toilet in the house. We shower in the house. So, yeah, that's how we do it. Do you water bath can in order to preserve or a pressure cooker? I actually do both. I have a pressure cooker, and I also do water bath canning. A lot of the stuff I'll water bath can when we're canning. And we're going to do a lot of canning videos this year. I'm going to be a good friend of mine. If you saw Patty and John, who helped me with the greenhouse, Patty does a tremendous amount of canning. So I am going to go and I'm going to steal her information out of her brain. And I'm going to do some videos with Patty. And we're going to do canning videos for you guys. And that way you get to learn and I also get to learn at the same time. Are you on town water? Pixie just asked it. No, I have my own well. And so we live in an area that is all kinds of springs. All kinds of springs in this area. So I have a well. My well is 130 feet deep. But I also have springs on the property as well. So Ed, is your well able to accommodate plumbing into your new building? Yes, yes, JJ. We're going to hook the plumbing for the new house right there from the well itself. They'll have to get their own pump in there, like I have the pump up here in the ceiling. So I will tell them that they better buy a Gould's pump, because if you're going to get a pump, that's the one you want, because it's going to last you a long, long time. They're a very good pump, and I need to get schooled on canning school. Okay, Titus, you know what? We're going to do that. I promise you. We're going to do all kinds of canning, and we're going to do that with Patty. I already recruited her. I already said to her, I said, we're going to work together, do some videos. We're going to show a lot of good information for you guys, and I think that that's important. We need to be doing that. Everybody needs to be doing that. Try to be as independent as you possibly can be. I think that that's really, really important. With everything that's going on, the more independent, the more free that you can be, the better off you're going to be. I wouldn't want to be on town water, to be honest with you, because they treat everything. The water tastes like crap. So with having a well is awesome. Now I do, and I will say, any water that we drink or cook with, I run it through my Berkey first. I don't have to, but I do it just as a precaution. That's why we do that. Hey, Lori Nelson, what was that pump again? It's called a Gould's. Goulds, I believe. Gould's. They're top of the line as far as pumps go. That's what I would recommend for any. Again, if you go cheap, I listen to my plumber, who is not trying to squeeze me or make a whole bunch of money. He wasn't like that. Believe me, he wasn't like that. Just a great guy. And what he did is he said, listen, you can do whatever you want, but this is what I recommend that you do. He says, you will pay that price if you buy cheap 3 times over by the time that Gould pump runs out. So Gould's is definitely the way to go. So I absolutely, Gould's is in Elliott. Patrick Adams just said, okay, but they're a great company. I have no affiliation with Gould's pump, none whatsoever. But I absolutely, if something works and I like it, I will always recommend it. It's just like my Berkey, my big Berkey. I was really resistive. I'll be honest. I'll be 100% honest. Very resistive to getting a big Berkey, or Berkey anyway. But then when we got here and we got the house in place, and I just, we sat down and I talked to some people and it made sense. I got it. Best decision I ever made as far as water filtration goes. Absolutely the best. You get all the crap out of your water. You're drinking decent water, and it's better for you that way. So absolutely. Pray tell what happened with the old batteries. The old batteries are still here, Matt. Thank you for asking. I will probably utilize them somewhere, somehow. But yeah, they're still here, and they still got a lot of life in them left. So I babied those batteries. I am not going to lie. I babied them big time. So, Asif, have you had to replace your first Gould pump? Nope, not at all. That pump will probably last me, I think he told me like 20 years. He said that pump will last you 20 years. So yeah, no, the pump is absolutely awesome. You can dry meat. Well, you can dry meat or you can can meat. You can do either way. But if you're going to can meat, that's when you have to have the pressure cooker. That's why you have a pressure cooker for canning meat and stuff like that. But yeah, that's definitely one way to do it. Let's see. What is the first thing to do when you start your going off-grid life? The first, I'm going to tell you what I would recommend, and I just so you know, we're going to go to 20 after, guys, just so you know, okay? What I would recommend, anybody that's contemplating going off-grid, okay? I want you to sit down with your family, tell them what your plan is, what you're thinking, and then make a plan, okay? If you can afford to do it. When we bought the property here, I was still living in Greece, New York at the time, and we bought the property, and I started working on, getting stone in and getting the driveway in, and then we got, more stone in and got the camper in place. So we were getting ready before we made our move, okay? So if you can do it that way, that's great. But if you got to do it all of a sudden, quick, bam, like that, regardless of how you have to do it, even if you can do a slow transition into it, or if you have to do it all at once, it's still not going to be easy. But have a plan and realize the biggest thing I think people don't realize, there will be obstacles in your way as you go. Okay. There's always going to be obstacles. So just try to be as prepared as you possibly can be. Realize that, realize it is not going to be easy, that it's going to be difficult, and be able to accept defeats. And when you have a defeat, you get up, you brush yourself off, and you say, okay, let's fix this. And that's that determination. I'm going to tell you what, that determination and that drive, that's what made America what it is today. That determination and drive. And we all still have that. Math, Music, and Life, for critical items, pumps, generators, spark plugs, etc., buy spare parts now while you can get them. That is great advice. Absolutely great advice, and you are 100% correct. Thank you for that donation as well. Yeah. I have 3 generators here at the homestead. So again, they're not super expensive generators. I didn't spend a whole ton of money on them, but I do have 3 working generators. So that's why we do it. You have your backups. Again, spare parts, spark plugs, extra oil, all those type of stuff. If you have a chainsaw, extra bars, extra chains, make sure you know how to sharpen your chains. Make sure you have plenty of bar oil. Make sure you have plenty of the mix to mix the gas, because you got to go with that mixture for your gas that you're putting into your, chainsaw. So all those things make a difference. And so, those are things to think about. So, but having backups for your backups. Again, the old rule of thumb from the Navy SEALs is 1 is none and 2 is 1. So always make sure you have a way to have backup stuff so that you can do what you need to do. I think that's really, really important. Do you own a small tractor or tiller? I do not, Bill B. I do not have either one of those at this point. That is something that I definitely would like to have down the road, but there's a lot of other things first that have to be taken care of. I do have a 4-wheeler now, and I do have a cart that I can put behind that 4-wheeler. So if I need to use that, that's helpful. But again, you prioritize. So what are the priorities? And again, and if you have children, I would really, really encourage you to make your children a part of what you're doing. Because what we did here, and I know I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again here really quickly. When we got here and we moved here, and it was not fun at first, and we got the building in, and we got the wood stove in, and we were sleeping on the floor in the building while our rooms were being squared away, and then we were able to get into our rooms. But the biggest thing, what I did in the spring of that first year, after we got through the winter, that next spring, I sat the kids down and I said, okay, what is the one thing right now that you want that's going to make your life better here? And it was a very unanimous decision with them, which was more power. All kids are going to want more power because they want to play on their games. They want to be on the internet. They want to do all that type of stuff. So I said, okay, so that's what we worked on. And that's when I went from a 12-volt system to a 24-volt system, got the components, and worked on things like that. So, make your kids feel real life. And it is real life. And being up here, it was real life. And, they really learned a lot. And they've learned things that you can't teach in the classroom. But I've taught them things that will help them to survive in the world, the real world. So, if they get caught out someplace and they're in a bad situation, Heather can make a fire. Heather can make a shelter. She knows how to do those things. She's not going to, panic and flip out like a lot of kids will do. She is squared away. And I've always encouraged that. And I want her to continue to do that. So, but alternative to meals or meats, MRE. MREs are okay. It's part of something to have in your preps. I have MREs as well, but MREs, the shelf life is not there. So if you're going to go that route, freeze-dried food is definitely the way to go. Okay, it really, truly is. That would be my advice to anybody. If you're looking for that long-term storage like that, so you have meals, freeze-dried food's the way to go. You add water, you heat it up, and then you have a nice hot meal, depending on, how big of it, what you're getting and all that type of stuff. It's a great alternative. I might as well talk about it right now since we just brought up that part. I have the freeze-dried food for sale right now on my website at preppernurse1.com. I sell the Legacy freeze-dried food, which is the largest portion size available that they have. Of any of the other companies. Any of the other competitors don't have the same portion size that Legacy does, okay? So what we're doing on the website right now is a 20% off sale on everything. So what is available is there. So if you place your order, realize it's going to be a little bit of time before you get it. Could be 50 to 60 days before you get your order. But if you get in, it's first in, first out. So there's orders that are in that are going out right now. They're catching up finally. And so the best time to take advantage of that is now, to be honest with you. Have some patience and you're going to get your stuff, okay? That just putting that out there for you guys, all right? The gluten stuff, I'm telling you right now, the gluten-free stuff is not going to be available for a while. So people you can't even put orders in right now for the gluten because they're going to make gluten to catch up their back orders, but they're not making more gluten to do new orders. So that's what the process is that they're doing right now. So just being honest, putting it out there for you guys, okay? The sale is ending on Sunday. So on Sunday, the sale will be over, just so you guys know. And just like I said, just letting you guys know and how things are going right now, okay? The 20% off is taken at checkout. We also have the Prepper Nurse One community on the website, which is free, does not cost anything. You do have to register. It's a great resource for you guys to connect with like-minded people. If you want to come in and just read the message boards, that's fine. If you're looking to network, connect, try to form a group in your state or your country, it's a great resource for that. Finding people that are close to you, and it's there. Like I said, you do have to register, but it is totally free because it is very discreet. So everybody just can't come in and see what's going on, okay? So just putting that out there again. So definitely take advantage of that if you want to, all right? Let's see. What's your opinion on the homemade face mask? I'm going to tell you what, if they're making them out of cloth, they're useless. You might as well not even wear a face mask. That's being honest. They're offering you zero protection, none. Okay, so that's being honest. N95, N100, those masks are designed to block the particles. A cloth mask is doing nothing. So that's where that is. So, really dark soil until 2020. Yeah. Do you have any planting fruit tree tips? Yeah, Prepper Chris, one good question. When you get your fruit trees, if you're buying your fruit trees, what I would suggest, whatever your soil is that you have, okay, you dig your hole, you get some good soil to put in there with that plant when you're putting your tree in. I don't care if you're buying it by the bag, compost, manure, whatever, and stuff like that, but get that composted soil or whatever kind of soil that you have to get like that. Put your tree in there, put that soil around your tree. That's going to give it a really good boost. When you get it all in there, give it a really good drink, and then just make sure you're watering that tree on a regular basis in the beginning. Protect that tree, put a fence around that tree so that the deer don't come in there and help themselves to all of your the leaves and everything like that because they love them. So that would be my advice as far as that goes. They are claiming the blue shop towels are the best use for masks. Again, and I'm just going to be 100% honest. If you do not have an N95 or better mask, if you're making homemade masks, they are useless. They are not protecting you. Maybe psychologically, but the reality is they're not protecting you. I would make your battery room a Faraday cage while you're at it. Patrick Adams just said, no, you're right, Patrick. I need to do that, and I can do that. I do plan on making sure that is protected in there. So, yeah, making it a Faraday cage as well in the inside. That is on the list of things that I want to do. But, yeah, so I want to protect those components. I want to protect my charge controllers. I want to protect my inverter, and the batteries. So, yeah, that I definitely need to do. And N95 1860 medical mask are the ones to have. Yep, Joe Dirt just said that. Will coronavirus carry over to next year as well? I absolutely believe that it will. I think it's going to come back, and I don't even think it's going to go away, to be honest with you, this summer. I really don't. Um, I think we're going to, and I want you to think about this, okay? Right now, because the weather, I don't know what it's like in the South. I mean, I know you guys are having a lot of tornadoes and stuff down there, but right now, like I said, today it's snowing. It's snowing right now while I'm doing this video. So, or I mean, this show. So, right now the weather sucks up here. But when the weather's nice, people are not going to want to stay home. They're going to want to go out. And when you can't go to parks, and when you can't, like if you live in an apartment and stuff, and you can't go to the park, what are you going to do? People are going to lose their minds. I think you're going to see a lot of people just really losing it over everything that's going on. We're lucky here. I can get outside. I can fart around on my property and do the different things that I want to do. And so that gives me, a really good advantage psychologically instead of staying inside constantly. That would drive me insane. I'll be honest with you. So, what happened there? Okay. Need to shop and add to preps. Hold on a second. I want to just catch that right now. Let's see. But get the edge when people don't know how far 6 feet. Oh, get on edge when people don't know how far 6 feet away is. Yeah, I understand, CM. I do understand that, and it's frustrating, But you do what you have to. Prepper Chris 1, Tennessee has its soil tilled. We're still frosting. Wow. Yeah, and like I said, it's just it has not been and so let's talk about that with what everything is going on. Ed, are you using a tankless water heating system? JJ, I'm using a hot water on demand unit. That's what I'm using for right now. Your tankless hot water systems are super, super expensive. They are not cheap at all. So using a hot water on demand unit, it works. We've been, we take nice hot showers with that. But yeah, it's to have a tankless water on system, you're looking at some money for those type of things. They're very, very expensive. But the other thing, what was I? Hold on a second. 1,200 is going to go quick. Yeah, Jeff Bacon just said that. Yeah, when people get their stimulus checks, they're not going to last long. Here's a good opportunity too. If you get your stimulus checks, buy some freeze-dried food. Not a bad thing to have. Like I said, it's a good backup. 25-year shelf life. So just putting that out there as well. Not telling you what to do with your money, but as long as you're using it positively to better and help yourselves, I think that that's important. I absolutely do think that that's important. Put your mask on your dashboard for a couple of hours. Ultraviolet radiation. Yep, Tubular Guy 9 just said that. Very good advice as well. That will definitely help with your masks. Asif says, do you have a septic tank? Like I said, I'm not going to get into how like I said, well, I already kind of said how we do. We do composting. So I don't like to talk about my waste that we do. So, but yeah, I do composting. So, because people get like so enamored and so caught up in where do you go to the bathroom? What do you do? What do you do? Well, we do composting toilets. So there's that. It's out of the bag. Everybody knows now. Sam Lowry just said, good luck finding freeze-dried food right now. No, like I said, all the companies right now are behind. But again, like I told you earlier, first in, first out. That's how they're doing it. So if you get your order in now, you'll get your stuff sooner than somebody that puts their order in 2 weeks from now. And again, right now, like I said, I'm still doing the sale. So definitely take advantage of that if you can. So, Pixie just said, we used to have a composting toilet. Now we have a septic. There's nothing wrong with that. However you want to do it, whatever works for you, that's like I said, whatever you're comfortable with. But people, there's always going to be judgment. People are always going to have an opinion. This is bad, that's bad, whatever. You know what? Whatever. It's just, it is what it is. So, who made the picture behind? Okay, this picture here, one of my subscribers made that for me, and he sent it, and I just thought it was really cool, so that's why I put it up behind me. And I'm going to get out of the way a second so you can see it better. And as you can see, it is very, very anatomically correct. That's exactly what I look like right now. Maybe with a little layer of protection on the outside. But Prepper Chris once said we used to poop in the woods. That's funny. Hey, you know what? It all goes back down into the soil. But yeah, but with using a composting method, it's very, very clean. There's no smell, and it works really, 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 really well. So, but yep, Lucy, I like that. Lucy Diaz Cohen just said, "Your house, your rules." Exactly. But do you get any odor from the composting toilet? Vintage Vibes just asked it. Absolutely none. No odor whatsoever. You would be surprised. You would think that there would be, but there's not. And that's the amazing thing about it. As long as you stay on top of stuff, you're fine. That's, works out great. So Artie Franklin said price gouging is everywhere. Yeah, it's unfortunate that that's going to happen, and it's always going to happen, unfortunately. And people are going to continue to try to take advantage if they can. Vintage Vibe, awesome. Thanks for answering. Well, you're welcome. I'm trying to get the questions, guys, today. I really wanted to do that. And I have a poop scoop. Oh, my God, that's awesome. That's pretty funny. I don't want people to think that the only questions that I answer are those of people that super chat me. That's not the case. I try to get to other questions as well. And, and so we're going into a grand solar minimum. That's God's Path. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I get your name. God's Path in 117. Yeah, I absolutely think we are as well. We're headed into a grand solar minimum, and it's affecting the weather, and it will continue to affect the weather. So the more did you have cats when we moved here? We had 5 when we moved here. We started out with 5 when we moved here. Yeah, so we had the cats. Didn't have any dogs at that point, but we did have the cats. But so, and then it's just kind of grown from there. But anyway, I do believe we are going into a grand solar minimum. I think that's what we're happening right now. That's why I encourage people, if you can put up greenhouses, grow as much as you can for yourselves. Make sure you're canning as much as you can. If you can have any kind of livestock, meaning chickens, meat rabbits, goats, or whatever you can do, again, to try to be as self-sufficient as you can. Think about this, okay? Go to the grocery store and you get your eggs, and it is just, they're all sanitized. They're all right there. You get them, they're done. But you don't realize the conditions that those chickens are living in. They're living in horrible conditions, okay? And so I know for me to be able to make sure my chickens have a good life and that they're well taken care of and they're happy, that's a big part of it for me. So we have that relationship. They feed me, I feed them. So with getting the eggs, it's awesome and it's fun. And the fact that I'm able to share those eggs with other people, it's really nice as well. So I love doing it. And how many chickens do I have, Heidi? I have 18 chickens altogether. I have 16 hens and I have 2 roosters. So Asif, more strong earthquakes during the grand solar minimum. Yeah, and more volcanic activity as well. And thank you for the comment, and thank you very much for the donation as well. Let's see. Brown bread is the best. Antonio just said that. Yeah, brown bread it's better for you too than white bread. Vintage Vibes just said, Ed, I can't tell you how much we appreciate all that you are continuously doing on here to educate us all. ABBAS helps keep us calm during the immediate storm. You are a legend, my friend. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say that. I'm going to tell you what. Panic does no good. Absolutely no good whatsoever. So staying calm and keeping in your head and realizing this is what I can control. This is what I can do to make my situation better and move forward in that aspect. And I think that that's really, really important, Oh, somebody asked, I have 3 acres right now. I have 3 acres. I'm planning, hopefully soon, to add 3 more acres to that. So I will let you know as that happens. So, we'll see how that goes. But that is the game plan. Uh, does Governor Cuomo want to open the economy? You know what? I don't know. I haven't been listening to his briefings lately, to be honest with you. It just, all that negativity of everything that's going on, day in, day out, day in, day out. Sometimes I kind of have to take a break from it. It's still there. I know it's still there. We have to deal with it. I understand that. We're laying low for the most part. I mean, the last week, we went to the grocery store one day, and then like today we went to the post office. And the grocery store was the big outing. So, but other than that, we have been home and, just doing things here and that type of stuff. So I think that's that's the way to do it. It's the politics within the storm. Yeah, Antonio, I don't disagree. They're playing a lot of games, and they're going to continue to play games. I think you're going to see that happen a lot. Unfortunately. And that's not going away anytime soon. Always going to be trying to get more control. That's what they want. They want you guys to give up your freedoms in the guise of safety. And that's what it's all about. It's control, control, control. And they're going to come to a point where they're going to push a little too hard. And just like you saw in Michigan today, okay, people protesting, people saying, I'm not taking this crap anymore. That's what you're going to see happen. And it's going to get worse, I believe. Grant, always appreciate your live streams. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the support for the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. It really does. And like I said, all you guys here, you definitely lighten up my day. It definitely makes me feel better to come on here and talk and read the comments and interact with you guys. And you know what? And when it's funny when I say we're all in this together, I really do mean that, because we are. People don't understand that. They really don't, because we are such a society. Ed, are you EMP protecting your power grid? It hasn't been at the moment, Chris, but I'm going to definitely turn my battery room into a Faraday cage. So, yeah, I will be doing that. South Cowgirl 504. My cats have stopped drinking tap water for weeks now. Do you think something vile could be in the water besides the usual? How can I get them water? Like I said, you can do filtered water. You can use rainwater for your cats if you had to. If you put up a little rain catchment, use rainwater to give them that. That's better for them anyway than tap water. Who knows what's in the water anymore? I mean, all the crap that they put in the water, like fluoride and chlorine and everything else, and then they expect us to drink it. That's just not good for you. It's just not. And so, but yeah, I would encourage you, if you wanted to do it that way, a rain catchment type of system, you could do that. And like I said, again, even if you have to use that water, filter it and get that Berkey, get a filter system, run it through there first, and then give it to your cats. So anyway, what we're going to do now, because we're almost at that point, I'm going to ask for another thumbs up from you guys. We're at 1,000 thumbs up. We got 1,400 people in the chat. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I absolutely would appreciate that. And thank you ahead of time. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you get that bell notification as well. And I do appreciate that. YouTube is back to playing their games, just so you know as well. I don't know if you saw the complete slowdown on my channel. It's because, they're not putting it out there anymore like they, for a while it was. And but that's part of the game that we have to play. So that's just YouTube, and there's not much you can do about that. But so you guys are jumping the gun. I'm not ready yet. And I'm not going to say where you're from until I say my piece. All right, guys. We are Legion. We are a huge family. We're a huge group of preppers and off-gridders. We're all over this country. We are a huge network of people, and we are the ones that truly can make a difference. Now, where is everybody from tonight? Now you guys can do it. Northern Connecticut. We have Oklahoma, Montana, Northeast Tennessee, Ohio, Boston, Mass, Columbus, Ohio, Jacksonville, Florida, Oregon, Indiana, Northern Texas, Michigan, England in the UK, Waterloo, New York, Montana, Port Angels, Washington, Buffalo, New York, Northern Arizona, Kansas, Oklahoma, California, Australia, Minnesota, Alabama, Kansas, Orlando, Florida, Nashville, Tennessee. Love it down there. Beautiful area. New Jersey. Let's see, we have Louisiana, Queens, New York, Connecticut, Wyoming, Puerto Rico, Taiwan. Let's see, Antonio, Texas. Somebody said Antarctica. Well, you're one of a few then if you're really there. So somebody said Trinidad, Nebraska, Idaho, New Jersey, Alaska, Michigan, Queens, New York again, Missouri. Let's see, Alabama, San Antonio, Texas, Houston, Texas, the Adirondacks, Missouri, Mississippi, Iowa, Verona, New York, Houston, Chicago, Northern Maine, Alabama, Mason-Dixon line, PA, Amarillo, Texas, Colorado, let's see, Georgia, Long Ridge Island. So anyway, guys, we're all over the place, all over the world, all over the country. We're a huge network of people. And I'm telling you what, if we ever really, truly did get organized, there would be no stopping us with what we could accomplish. No matter what they threw at us, we could beat them. We really could if we work together. And that's the key. Conquer and divide. That's the game plan. Remember that. They want to conquer and divide. So if they can keep us fighting each other over the stupidity of what color skin we have, the only ones that win then are the elites, the ones that are in control and in power. Don't play that game. Don't do it. Work together as human beings. I think that's the first thing that we need to do with it. Realize, too, right now the blame game is being played. They're trying to assess the blame. What are they looking to do? What is the goal with that? If we can make these people, vilify them and make them the enemy, then we have an enemy. We can say, hey, it's all their fault. They're the ones. And who knows if it was accidental or on purpose? We don't know that, okay? We don't know if another country came in there and released it there. Think about that, too. Always keep an open mind to those type of things. A lot could happen, all right? So